What is going on, amazing people of the interwebs? Before we get into today's show, I'd just like to tell you I'm crazy about intermittent fasting, not only for weight loss, but for mental benefits. That's why I've created an ebook and I want to share that with you. So you can check that out in the link in my description. So without further ado, let's jump into today's episode. What is going on, guys? How you all feeling? Welcome, Justin, to the show. How you feeling, Justin?
I'm feeling great. Hey, man, thanks for having me on your show.
Not a problem at all. So my show works a little bit different. It's almost like a radio show, and I've got a few segments built in. So I thought to kind of get warmed up, we could play a game. So the game is rapid fire questions. So the game is rapid fire questions. So I'm going to just shoot out a bunch of questions at you. You can either answer them fast or take your time. Are you ready to play, Justin?
I'm always ready. Wow. I guess.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
How do you have your coffee?
But I used to be a tea guy.
Oh, okay. So you made the switch. Okay.
Well, you know what? Now I have a lot more going on, so need a little more energy.
Need a little bit more kick. Okay. What would be your final meal ever?
Steak.
Steak? A few
Ribeye.
veggies, condiments on the side, or just plain?
Nah, double stuffed potato with all the fixings and some broccoli.
Awesome. What's the strangest thing in your refrigerator?
Ooh. I don't have much strange stuff in there. It's all coconut water, egg whites, eggs, and meat.
Lovely. Okay. Are you a cat person or dog person?
A dog person, but I think cats are sweet too.
Cool. Last question. Would you prefer more time or more money?
Time.
Time? Awesome. That's it. That's the end of rapid fire questions. And I hope we're all warmed up. And maybe you can introduce yourself to the audience, people listening at home. Give us a bit of background into who you are.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Justin Brien. I'm a mental health advocate, an inspirational speaker, and a professional executive coach. But for me to be able to put all those titles, let's say, in front of my name, it was a battle for me. I had a 16-year-long battle with addiction from drugs and alcohol. And almost, now the more I know and understand about mental health, pretty much like a lifelong battle between my mental health. I was diagnosed with clinical depression, which is a depression that it's every single day, ADHD, social and general anxiety. I suffered some head traumas as a kid, went through post-concussion syndrome, and then I ended up becoming suicidal for about 6 straight years. And I made a plan, and then finally on January 4th, 2019, I actually put myself in the hospital with suicidality and alcoholism, and kind of got the help that I needed and started to make that little turn in life.
Yeah, absolutely. That must have been a quite a traumatic experience being in that circumstance. I guess would you say that that's the reason of where you are now? Like, that's been part of your journey. That's obviously a big, massive part of your journey, hasn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It's basically the only reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, because growing up, I remember I was looking at my hockey profile the other day, and I wanted to be a SWAT team member, special forces. And well, that didn't turn out. I took a different lifestyle. I partied. I took the partying lifestyle. It was the easy route out. And, I kind of I was in rehab for the second time. And I had a friend who I used to play baseball with, and she was a counselor, and she wanted me to come and speak to troubled teens, a school of troubled teens. And so I went there and I spoke, and I was only like three weeks or a month out of rehab, and I spoke in front of these kids, and when they're sitting there looking at you and taking in what you're actually saying, it was a really good feeling. And I'm like, you know what, I could make a really big impact. But, at one point I started started going to the gym at like 28 years old. And I was trying to listen to motivational speaking, and I was listening to guys like Inky Johnson, Trent Shelton, Eric Thomas, and Les Brown. Now, I had no idea who these guys were back then, but I definitely know who they are now. But I just loved what they were doing. And then finally, I'm like, why can't I do something like that? If I can change the trajectory of just one person's life and show them that there is light at the end of the tunnel, well, then I'm going to do it. So then I started going around schools and speaking on mental health and addiction. And then I took a life coaching course, and you know what, the rest is kind of started to fall into place. But I never would have guessed that this would have been my path. However, you know what, if you would have asked me as a kid, or would have told me as a kid, Justin, you're going to be an alcoholic. Justin, you're going to be a drug addict. Or Justin, you're going to become suicidal and start to plan your end. I would have laughed. I would have looked at him and I would have laughed. For one, I was a teenager. I probably wouldn't have listened anyways. But I would have looked at him like dumbfounded, like, okay, whatever. I mean, I thought I had a really good childhood. I did, compared to probably most people. You know what? I had good grades. People liked me. I mean, I got picked on a little bit because I was small, but I was probably a little mouthy. Probably deserved a little bit of it. But I was always behind my friends in athletics, and I was smaller and weaker than a lot of people, and I always compared myself. Now that I look back at it, you know, I could see how I acted. I compared myself. I always thought of myself as less than, and I put everybody else on a pedestal ahead of me, and I always wanted to be somebody else.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I guess looking back at my high school, I was a bit of a quiet, shy kid, and I guess it's interesting because you transition in, you're never the same person when you're in high school and when you're out of high school. I feel like you transform you into a different person. And
well, that's what I used alcohol for.
Yeah, the mask. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
In high school, barely. Like I went out every now and then, but not much. But when I started playing junior hockey, I started drinking more then. But I realized that the false confidence that it gave me, how it made me feel, how I could see myself or perceived myself, made me feel good. But then it kind of graduated into, okay, I'm going to have an algorithm on drinking. I'm going to have this many drinks to go out. I'm going to have this many drinks to talk to this girl, this many drinks to go on the dance floor. And it became, I had to rely on alcohol. Yeah. And then at 24 years old, you could say I graduated into drug use. And the first time I did drugs, I did cocaine. And my buddy looked at me and said the worst thing he could ever say to me. He's like, man, you were so funny last night. And then boom, it clicked. Oh, I have alcohol to make me feel better and funny. I have drugs to make me funny. Well, I just put them together and I can be super funny. Or, chatty or talkative. And I had such a low self-worth, low self-esteem. And I saw myself just as less than other people, that I needed that, or I felt that I needed that back then.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's a cocktail for disaster. So speaking of your motivational side, I've had a look at your Instagram and you've got some inspirational quotes there. I just wanted to read just a quote that you've got on there. So the quote is: knowledge plus action equals power. Hope plus action equals recovery. What does that mean for you?
Well, you know what? In my recovery, I didn't really rely on hope. For me, I knew that, there's knowledge equals power. Well, you know what? You got to put that knowledge into action to implement it, right? To get that power.
Yeah.
And for me, the way I look at it is I hope I get through this, but how are you actually going to get through this? Well, you got to ask for help. And what I did was I've been to over 100 doctor's appointments. I spent 77 days in rehab away from my family so 2 different occasions, one for 35 days, one for 42 days. I went to 45 addiction appointments, 10 psychiatrists, 10 psychologists. I tried 8 different meds. And you know what? I took a cognitive behavioral therapy course. So I did whatever I could to get better. And, I'm not saying go and do everything that I did, because it was hard. And it was 6 years of me actively trying to quit drinking, and 6 years of actively seeing counseling and trying to get better. So you could implement it, little steps. But, I couldn't rely on just hope. So I had to do whatever I could, take action steps to help myself.
Yeah.
Because there were times, I was hopeless and I had no hope, right? And I was just, what was I doing? I was laying in my bed, all depressed. I was scanning social media. I was comparing myself.
Sorry, can I just interrupt? Sorry, what were the action steps that you took for that?
So counseling.
Yeah.
Rehab. So I went to 3 different counselors. Went to a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and an addiction counselor. But I also saw my general physician regularly, once a month, sorry. Then I also tried rehab. I did try AA, wasn't for me, but I know a lot of people that got a lot of success out of it. But also, I found some friends that I could talk to. And in the beginning, I was a little upset. I'm like, why can't this friend talk to me about it? Well, you're going to have friends that are comfortable with it. You're going to have friends that aren't comfortable with it. So you find that one person that you can talk to with, right? You're going to have those friends you can talk sports. So you're going to have those friends you can talk relationships, work, anything besides mental health, right? But
they can't relate on that mental health area. I get you. I feel you. Yeah.
Find that friend. Don't take it personally if people don't want to talk to you about it, because it's just not a lot of people understand it. Or no, nobody really understands it anyways. But it's just uncomfortable to talk to you about it. But build yourself a support network of that team that's going to be there for you to lend an ear when you need.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I had a guy on the podcast who actually built an app around this idea. Because I think the idea is, who do you talk to when you've got some mental issues? It's like, if you go to a psychologist, it's like a real extreme measure, or if you can't, sometimes you don't feel comfortable speaking with your family. So it's funny you mentioned that, because the guy on my podcast developed an app. I forgot the name of the app. I should remember it. But he said that you can speak to people who are, maybe I'll put this in the show notes. He said you can speak to people who are studying to become mental health advocates. So he's kind of made this product that kind of fits that market need. So
just kind of like volunteers kind of thing?
I think it's a volunteer type of thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the app. I'll see if I can put it in the comments. But that's thanks for sharing that.
Sometimes people just want to just get something out, right?
That's right. Yeah.
They just want to talk about it, get it off their chest, and then sometimes they can feel better.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought I'd just shoot out a question at you. And when are the times you doubt yourself the most?
When I kind of get overwhelmed. You know what? I was in that suicidal stage for about 6 years, and it seemed like a fantasy. And you know what? I look back sometimes, and it's starting to feel a little bit more real. Now that I'm 2 years sober, over 2 years sober, wow. I can look back and I can just be like, holy cow, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I almost did this. I can't believe it. Like, all those feelings were coming up for me. So then in the beginning, I was getting the self-doubt of imposter syndrome. Like, why would somebody want to listen to me? I was an alcoholic, drug addict. Why would anybody want to listen to me? I messed up everything in my life. Or sometimes, you know what, I could sit there and be like, is this for me? Is this for me? Because it's a different avenue that I'm taking now. And it's way different than what I'm used to doing. So yeah, I could still get self-doubt creep in. But I've learned to question that self-doubt. Well, can I do this? Well, yeah, I can. Well, can I absolutely do it? Well, yes, I can. And how would I feel if I didn't feel like that? Well, I'd feel pretty great. So then you attack the feeling or the self-doubt that's creeping in. And then, or you can just use borrow confidence from a different time.
Sorry, can I just? What do you mean attack the feeling? So you kind of go into that that self-doubt head on. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, for me, that's what I would do. So for the longest time, I used to think depression was an excuse. I used to live by the man up stigma. I remember one time I had a conversation with a buddy, and I was 24 years old, and I looked at him. I'm like, you know what, man? Depression's for the weak. It's an excuse. You got to man up. You got to go to work. You got to pay your bills. Now, I don't know why I said it, but I think, I looked at him as more of a man than me, and I wanted to maybe make myself look tough because deep down I knew I wasn't a man, or I was struggling. So I hid from my feelings, and I started self-medicating. So when you hide from your feelings or your emotions or what's coming up for you, they can worse, they can amplify. And, if you start using drugs or alcohol, they 10 times make you feel it even worse. So when you have a feeling come up, acknowledge it. Okay, this is admit it. So I have the 3 A's. So admit it, accept it, ask for help. So admit, what's the problem? Okay, well, I'm starting to have some self-doubt. Okay, now I got to accept it. Okay, so this is how I actually feel, and what am I going to do about it? So then I can question it. So if I'm feeling sad, okay, Justin, why are you feeling sad right now? Do you have a reason to be sad? Did you make yourself sad? Is this something that you can control? Is this something outside of your control? So whenever you have something that's making you not feel it good, or just you allow yourself to feel, but then question it, and then hit it straight on, so you don't push it down, and then it starts to build back up, and then all of a sudden you explode, or you can get irritable, you can get frustrated, you can get angry.
Yeah. What does the word patience mean for you?
Something to work on.
Yeah, right. Okay.
No, and you know what? Patience. I was at the gym the other day, and an retired teacher came up to me, and he said, the people that are most successful that I see from out of high school that are more successful now are the kids that had a work ethic and that were patient. If you are patient in what you're doing, this is what I got to remind myself, that I'm not going to be an overnight success. I've emailed a bunch of schools to go in and speak. I haven't heard from a bunch. And instead of getting, why wouldn't they want to bring me in? Well, for one, it's COVID. I don't know if they can.
Yeah.
2, I'm just starting out. You got to be patient. Good things will come. And if it's, what's the saying? If it's too easy, is it worth it? Something.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, patience is key. Good things come. Like, you're not going to get, my mental health was not going to get better overnight. And when I would go on and off medication, because if it wasn't working right away, I'd go off of it. Oh, it's not working. Well, it's just like the gym. You're not going to get super strong, right? You're not going to see results if you just start going to the gym. It's going to take time to see results.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm on a similar path with this podcast. It's kind of like, putting in all the effort, all the work, and you're not saying what you feel like you should be saying. And it all comes down to patience and that work ethic. And I think it's even like a bit of intelligence. You got to try and apply yourself in the right way and do the right things. And good things will come. I'm a deep believer in that. And it gets tough sometimes when you put in all the work and you get nothing in return. So, but it's a grind. It's a just keep going. Every time
you feel like quitting, just remind yourself of what's your biggest purpose. What's your why? So you feel like you're not getting anything out of the podcast. What is your why? Why do you do this podcast? So what is my why? So that actually was one of the biggest factors of my recovery. Was I listened to all those speakers, but they all had something in common, and that was find your why. So I started to ask myself. So at one point, I thought I was better off ending my life so my son could have a healthy father, a father that he deserved. And I started thinking, my family understand, because they won't want me to see me in pain. My ex-girlfriend, his mother would find she's smart, she's beautiful, intelligent, massive heart. She would find a man good enough for my kid to raise my kid, and my kid was 2 years old. So he's not even gonna remember me. So I got into that mindset that he was better off without me. Then I started to ask myself, okay, Justin, well, what is your why? What is your why? And so I started to reframe it, my mindset, and just look at him. I'm like, well, what if I made him my why? My why to go on, my why to get better. Because if I can get better for him, I can get better for me. And if I get better for me, I'm better for him, and then I can help other people. So then I made him my why. And so then that's when it started to make change and went back to rehab and stuff like that. And now, though, my why is helping other people who struggle like me. So it's people who struggle. That is my why now. So my why in the beginning was my son, to get better. Now my why is to help other people, to serve others. So when I get tired or something, I actually have a sticky note beside my desk that says, I have the opportunity to impact and inspire a lot of lives. My why. So I also have a alarm in my phone that comes on at 2 p.m. You know, when we start to wind down, we get a little tired halfway through the day. It's like, it says, what is your why? Okay, this is my why. So this is why I must keep going. This is why I got to keep grinding. Yeah. Even when I'm getting nothing in return, or, you know what, if you just remember why you're doing what you're doing, that'll help you.
Yeah, for sure. That's and I mean, speaking of suicide, I mean, I know it's a very like powerful thing to speak about in a dark way. But I mean, I know this might sound a bit controversial, but do you think that, to an extent, suicide is a little bit selfish?
You know, I used to think that way. I really did. I remember saying that to a friend of mine, because his father committed it. And when I didn't know or understand what mental health was, that's the way I used to think. And then going through it and wanting to do it, and you know what, I woke up one night, my wrist, I had a knife in my bed, blood on the sheets, and there was a knife there. And I don't remember doing it. But when you get into that mindset, you honestly think the world is better off without you. And you don't want to feel pain. You want to understand what life is really about, and you want to understand why you feel like this. And all you can think about sometimes is the end. Like when you get hopeless and you have nowhere to go, but you have a lot of places to go, but you feel like you have nowhere to go, or nobody understands you, or you're the only person like this in the world, and you see no end, or the only end that you do see is feeling like this. Well, you don't want to feel like that. So yes, in the beginning, I used to think it was selfish. Now it's a long-term solution to a short-term problem.
Yeah.
But it's tricky for the people that are actually, they think about it. I really hope somebody can hear this and decides not to, because you know what, you don't have to. There are ways to get out. I mean, it might be a bit of hard work, a bit of a grind, but there's light at the end of the tunnel if you just keep walking.
All right. Well, we're gonna take a short commercial break. So we'll be right back, guys. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Are you sick and tired of adjusting settings and trying to organize your live stream? Leave it with a professional. My services include integrating Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or any software into OBS, installing a script for great overlays and images. I can set up your RTMP streaming key, coach you towards a great live stream experience, and provide specific advice on microphone filters in OBS, or general advice on which camera to use and background adjustments. So what are you waiting around for? Send me a message and let's organize to connect using TeamViewer, and I can organize your live stream now. Alright guys, we're back on the show, and yeah, we were just talking about suicide. It's quite a dark topic, so I thought I'd kind of lighten the mood up a little bit. We're going to play another game, so Guess that sound. Did that audio come through? Guess that sound?
Yeah, I totally did. I think my kid
awesome.
played that.
All right, so it's pretty self-explanatory, so we'll just jump straight into it. So here's the first sound. What did you
Sounds like a tap or a river?
Let me just check the answer for that one. Give me a. I'm hoping someone.
Running water.
What is it? It's a deep fryer.
Oh, I should have known this because I'm a part-time server.
All right, we'll go for number 2.
Is that a foot pump for blowing up a mattress?
Wrong. No, it's a dog toy.
Oh, I'm awful at this.
Last one. Here we go. That one's actually a pretty hard one.
Is that a door thing?
It's like a ruler. You know when you hit a ruler on a bench and it, you know.
Oh, I would never guess that. So I thought it was one of those things that stops the door and then you hit the wire and then you hit it and it goes back and forth.
Yeah, not quite. But look, thanks for playing. Guess that sound. So yeah. So where were we? So I guess my next question is, what does procrastination mean for you?
It means putting off aside what you know you should be doing.
Yeah, right. How do you have any techniques about procrastination? Like, how do we? Because I know it's just it's a massive thing in today's society. You know, you should stop procrastinating, do your work. But are there any practical tips on or any things that work for you at the moment?
So the big one is, I think, find your why. Remember why you want, and then why you're going to do it. But also turn those needs into wants. Want to do it. Say, hey, I want to do this. Not I need to do this. Not I have, or the have to the get. Not I have to do this. I get to do this. But one of the biggest things you can do, time block. So Sunday night, time block your week. Time block what your projects are, what needs to be done first. Do you have more energy in the morning? Do you have more energy at night? So for me, I feel way better in the morning. So I like to do my most important stuff that's going to take my most energy in the morning. But time block everything in. Even if you have to time block your family time in. Time block your work, what you have to work on, and then fill in the gaps around that. What else you can give yourself a reward system. So if I accomplish this by this time, I get to, I get to do my nails if you're a woman, or I get to have a beer or something, even though I don't drink. But give yourself a reward system. Also, give yourself some grace if you don't get it done. But you can also look at those tasks, break them down. And break them down into easier, simpler tasks. And when you break them down, then you start to get, once they're completed, you start to get small wins. So build them. So start to build up those small wins. Make it easier. Give yourself a deadline. Also, distractions. Get yourself in a room. Leave your phone out of it. If you can, mute. Turn off the notifications. Those are all things that you can do for procrastination.
Yeah, I think I've recently gotten into time blocking, and I guess the good thing about time blocking is that once you block in a certain topic or area, you're not thinking about anything else. So let's say you block in time with family. While you're in that time with family, you're only focusing on family. You're not focusing on, oh, that email from yesterday or that text message or something else. You're kind of setting your focus straight, and I think that's really important for the mind, because the mind, speaking of the mind is, if you kind of let it run loose, let it run wild, that's when things like depression, anxiety start to crop up. So for me, I know for me personally, I always have to set a target or set a goal, because if I don't, I'll just wander, and I'll just so I'm constantly writing down plans, writing down things to do, and yeah, it keeps me productive, keeps me busy. And I think that's a powerful concept, the why. Like, always coming back to that why, because you lose track, you lose sight sometimes of the goal, of the prize. Yeah. And how do you deal with loneliness?
Well, back in the day, I would have turned to alcohol. Now, I mean, I'm actually back together with the mother of my child. So I have my son and her back in my life, and we're actually expecting another one. So it's not very often that I actually get time to myself anymore, to be honest. But how could you deal with loneliness? Well, grab a book. You could journal. Do some mindfulness. Get into your head to get out of your head. Pick up a hobby. You know what? Text a friend. Do a Zoom meeting. Do, you know what? Allow yourself to feel. What are you feeling? Write everything down that you're feeling. Examine it. You know what? I feel this, this, and this. Okay, why do I feel this, this, and this? Okay, what can I do about this, this, and this? Learn to learn more about yourself.
We just got a comment from Sam the Miracle Man. Yes, when you hide your feelings, life gets worse. So, I think maybe in today's society it's like very masculine dominated, and it's always about kind of bottling in your feelings, and that's something that I've worked on as well, because I always thought that, you needed to be that tough guy in the room, don't show any emotion. But I think that the emotions are like triggers. They're like, not triggers, but they're messages. They mean something, right? Because I think at the deepest level, we are spiritual beings. I'm not sure what your beliefs are, but I think we are spiritual beings, and that, there is some sort of message or some sort of greater understanding through these emotions that are trying to direct us in a path. So why would we try and stop them from getting out? So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's so I went to rehab the second time. I actually put my drinking aside. And then I asked myself, okay, what's my why? That's my son. Okay, now the drinking's aside. Why do I drink? I'm depressed. Why am I depressed? Well, I have low self-worth, low self-esteem, low self-confidence. Why am I like that? Well, because I never learned how to deal with it. So by, attaching or learning from how we're feeling, we can learn how to grow as well. We can learn how to fix it, or, like I said before, attack it. And you know what? In the beginning, that man up stigma, and I lived by it, and it almost ended up taking my own life, because I would sit there and beat myself up internally, like telling myself how weak I was. Like, I was at work, I'd be constantly in my head with a really brutal internal dialogue. And you know what? The person you spend the most time with in this life is you. So what you think, believe, or say about yourself can become a truth for you. So if you're not kind to yourself as you would be to someone else, you can really make or break yourself. And I was breaking myself basically every single day. And it wasn't until I realized that manning up was, asking for help. So you take responsibility for what you're doing, your actions, but then ask for help.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know who William H. McRaven is, but he's a Navy SEAL, and he has this unreal commencement speech. And I just got his book too. It's called Make Your Bed. But he talked about when he was skydiving, he opened his chute up, it wrapped around his legs, and it tore his pelvis apart.
Whoa.
Now, this guy's a Navy SEAL, but he said one of the chapters is don't do it alone. He said one of the biggest reasons why he got better was because his friends came over, his friends texted him, his boss would call him. And like, this is a Navy SEAL, this is a tough guy. He said having his wife there helped. He said, don't do life alone. Like, these guys are guys you can put in the jungle by themselves, and they'll come out even more of a badass. Yeah. But he said, do life alone. So that's when I go to speak at schools and talk to people who are struggling, it's do not do it alone. Ask for help. That is manning up. Asking for help. Yeah. And you know what? I spoke at World Suicide Prevention Day, and I actually got the chance to speak in front of 150 people and, you know, say I went through this, and it felt great because I could finally take the mask off my face. Yeah. But then I put it on, I was questioning myself, should I put it on social media? Because if I do it, then everybody's going to know. And I'm like, you know what? I have to do this. And when I finally put it out there on social media, the support and encouragement I got was incredible. Real people want to see real people. They want to see your vulnerability, your authenticity. And if someone's telling you to man up, well, you know, there's times that I had to man up and I was take responsibility for what I was putting myself through. All those times I missed with my kid because I was drinking. You know what? I had to man up and be like, hey, Justin, go get help. Accept the help. But you got to be careful of what you're telling yourself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And are you into meditation at all, or journaling, or any of those?
So when I first got out of rehab, I was journaling my feelings every single day. Gratitude as well. So I journal at night what I feel, try to do gratitude in the morning. Meditation, I never got big into, but I really want to try and get back into it. I really struggle with ADHD. And you know what? I just got to start at 1 minute if I have to. And what is mindfulness? Well, their meditations, getting into your head, right? And just practicing calmness and trying to control your thoughts and just be. And that's something I want to get into a little more.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'd highly recommend it. All right, no worries. Well, and what about the gym? So I can see that you're pumping a bit of iron in the gym and getting after it a little bit. Like, what's your favorite exercise at the moment?
Oh, geez. At the moment, I kind of like a little bit of it all. I like doing hack squats. I try to grow my legs as much as I can, but I have this tiny calf syndrome that really eats at me. I have bigger legs up top, and it's just I got these little calves. So probably nothing to do with calves. That's what my least favorite are, because they just won't grow.
Just won't grow. Nah, all good. Have you tried like any endurance things like running, or you're more of a gym person? What's your flavor? What's your flavor like?
Oh yeah, it's more strength building, or you know, I like to do a lot of supersets. So that's kind of like my cardio ish. I do serve part time, so I do around 140,000 steps a week.
Damn, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you mean serve? Like, what do you mean serve? Sorry.
Like waiter.
Oh, damn. So okay, so you're constantly on your feet, constantly moving, going up. Yeah.
So I usually get up around 6, try to do some content, hang out with my kid, walk him to school. Then I go to the gym. Then I come do a little bit of work, pick him up from school, and then I go to work. I go serve. So usually around 22 to 26, maybe sometimes 28,000 steps a day.
Damn. Yeah, because I can imagine you'll be pretty busy. Yeah, on your feet constantly. Yeah.
Doing stairs, or I'm doing stairs in the morning and then going there.
Damn. Cool. Well, no worries, Justin. Well, I think I might end the show there. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. And how can people follow your journey? What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Well, I would love it if anybody that's watching this can, tell me what they got out of it, or reach out, say, hey, this is what I was struggling with. This is how I'm gonna implement something into my life to get better. Or you can follow me on Justin Brien 19 on my Instagram. I'm just Justin Brien on Facebook. I pretty much turned my Facebook into my business one. If people really want to see a lot of pictures of my kids, they can just come and be in my life. So also, I have a website, www.justinbrien.com, and I have my coaching programs called the Stronger You Project, where you work with me one-on-one for 12 weeks, and we do a lifestyle switch. So we work on finding your why, your passion, your purpose, and defeat those self-limiting beliefs and build up that confidence. And maybe I got to set some healthy boundaries. I do have a module on procrastination and accountability. But one thing you'll see in every single one of my modules is, what are 3 things you love about yourself?
No worries. Well, thanks for being here, and enjoy your day, guys. Thank you.